All right. Well, why don't we get started? I'm going to do. I'm not big on long introductions, so I'll do quick introductions, and then you guys can talk a little bit about everything that you're working on. I'm Mitch Leff. I'm going to be moderating our panel today. I am the owner of Leff and Associates Public Relations here in Atlanta, and also a group called the Georgia Entertainment PR Alliance, which is a group of PR folks who serve clients in film and television production, music, esports, digital gaming, augmented reality, all of those E, and I kinds of things. And we've got Todd Harris, who's the founder and CEO of SkillShot Media, Shelbia Jackson, who's the director of the DeKalb Entertainment Commission, and James Tsismanakis, who's executive director and CEO of Discover DeKalb. And James, I hope I said your last name correctly.
Oh, you were close. Tsismanakis.
Tisman. So a little accent on the syllable, but close.
Very close.
So, all right. So Shelby, I'm going to let you start and give us a little bit of give us kind of the 2-minute overview of what the DeKalb Entertainment Commission is about. And I know Dorian gave a little bit of that, but for folks who might have come in a few minutes late, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, so our true name is DeKalb Film, Music, and Digital Entertainment Commission. And we were established or launched in 2017 by the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners and the CEO at the time to service the entertainment industry in DeKalb County. So that kind of started because there was so much production happening in the state of Georgia, but primarily in DeKalb County. And we had coordination between our police and fire, our parks. Every department in DeKalb County was involved in the process of helping productions film on our streets and in our commercial spaces. So we needed a true response, a true legislation in place to help us leverage that attraction. And that's how we were born. And so our purpose now, our main purpose really is managing the film permit process across all 13 jurisdictions in DeKalb County. And we think we've done a really great job of that.
All right, Todd.
Yeah, it's great to be with you guys. So SkillShot Media, basically, you're all familiar with production when it comes to film and TV. And what we do is production around video games and video game competition. So if you think about what an ESPN or a Turner is for traditional sports, SkillShot is for video games being played competitively. So that sometimes means putting on live events with the energy of a United game meets EDM or hip hop concert with actual fans in stadiums. And sometimes it means virtual events in the time of COVID where you're watching over the internet. But that's the easiest way for people to understand what we do. And I know we'll go into more detail about the gaming industry and the esports industry, but we're thrilled to be here with a county that recognizes the power of digital media and embraces gaming in addition to film and TV, because it's a massive opportunity. And I'm excited to live here, excited to work here.
You're on mute, Mitch.
Oh, I think I'd know by now, right? Okay, James, let's tell us what you got going on.
Hey, good morning. I represent Discover DeKalb. We are the destination marketing management organization for DeKalb County. We represent individual cities. We have Chamblee, Doraville, Tucker, the city of Stone Mountain, the city of Stonecrest, and Stone Mountain Park. So we handle everything from the tourism realm, which right now is very heavily in the leisure market. We work with conventions, associations, sports groups. We have a separate entity called Sports DeKalb, which sole job is to bring tournaments in, to bring more youth sports in. We work closely with the Shelbia, the Chamber, Decide DeKalb. So we're just the economic development for tourism part of the county.
All right. So I like lots of motion back and forth when we do this, when I do panels. So instead of having one person talk for 10 minutes, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth a little bit because it's early in the morning, and I'm worried that if I don't do that, Todd's going to nod off, and because gamers are not morning people, right, Todd?
No, no, not generally. No.
Yeah. So the next time we do one of these panels, it's going to be midnight, and we'll be heard. I do have a client in the gaming space, and he doesn't do meetings before 11 a.m. So, all right. So Shelbia, we know, Dorian talked about how the entertainment industry is growing so much across the state, and we hear about kind of the actors and the films that are shooting here, but it comes down to the sound stages and the studios that are here in Atlanta. So what's the status of that? How many stages do we have here in Georgia now, or in DeKalb County? Let's focus on DeKalb.
Last year, the Georgia Film Office was spreading the word that we needed more stage space. They were reaching out to us to find out if we had any commercial space whatsoever that could be used as stage space or production office space. And so we had to reach out to our commercial real estate brokers to find that available space for production. It has grown so much over the years that we're desperate for stage space. And luckily for DeKalb, we have all these new developments on the books with Gray TV and Electric Owl and Black Hall Studios. We even still have Atomic Entertainment out at Pullman Yards. All of these new developments are coming online for DeKalb County in the next couple of years. But across the state, there's also new development and expansion projects in this space as well. So we're excited about the growth across the state, and we're especially excited about these new developments coming to DeKalb. Gray TV at the old GM plant site is called Assembly. Third Rail Studios is out there, but the way that they're going to build out that property is going to be really exciting. They're going to add the esports space out there as well. So we're looking forward to working with them on all the services they plan to provide and being able to leverage that to get more people in the industry. Electric Owl Studios being the first LEED certified studio in the world. We're excited about that. And I had to look up LEED, and it means leadership in energy and environmental design. And because they're going to have about 30% of their studio to use renewable resources, like electric car charging stations and certain types of lighting that is renewable and energy saving. That's going to be an incredible project. I can't wait to see what that looks like. And Black Hall Studios, everybody knows this huge complex down there in the Conley area, and how they're expanding and how they are willing and excited about working with the county and the school district on ensuring that our young people have a space, have a pathway into this industry. So we're excited about that project too. And then go ahead.
Good. I was gonna say no. So Black Hall has.
I can keep going.
I know Shelbia. I gotta give her a 2-hour time limit, right?
Okay.
So Black Hall, I think how many stages do they have now? Like 10 or so down there now.
It was 9 stages, but they have a second campus out there where they added additional stage space.
Okay, and they've got growth plans over the next couple of years.
Right. Right.
But so drop some names for us. Some of the big productions that we might recognize in DeKalb County that are either TV or films that have been shot here.
So some of people's favorite shows like Ozark and Black Lightning, and we have Naomi is a new CW show, The Resident, Legacies, Tales of the Walking Dead. If you love that show, you'll love Tales of the Walking Dead because they dig into each character. We have MacGyver, Doom Patrol. And what I love about our attraction to this industry is the fact that a lot of these are TV series and they regularly film here. So that means regular job opportunities for people here in DeKalb. So that's just a few. A lot of these will begin to market and promote on our site to let people know that their favorite shows are here, and we encourage them to watch those shows so that they can continue to film here. So yeah, that's just a few.
So I had a neighbor who lives in my area of DeKalb County, and she called me. She says, Black Widow, the first 10 minutes, she said, it's my street.
It's my street. Yeah, we
So,
love hearing that stuff.
right. So she was like, she was just telling me, oh, that's so and so's house, and that's so and so's house,
Yes.
and my kids used to ride their bikes past that park. So that's some of the fun part of
Yes.
being
Yes.
in a
We
city where
love
there's a lot of
that.
production, right? To see all that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit later about how you can get into that if you think your house or your business is a good location.
Yeah.
Well, let's just jump to Todd. So Todd, I think the number is like 30 million people view esports every month, right? So and the last number I saw was like it's $1 billion industry in revenues this year. And you created High Res Studios and some great games like Smite and Paladins, but you're going in a little bit different direction with SkillShot. So what's the economic impact of esports in DeKalb County and Atlanta?
Great, Mitch. Well, first, I'll start with gaming because you mentioned that, and that's my background at High Res. It is important for people to know how large of an industry just gaming is. And to give you context, because I love our film and TV brethren here, but you really have to take all of film and TV and all of music, and gaming is larger than those combined. So gaming is a $170 billion industry. So it's by far the biggest entertainment form on the planet, and nothing's even close. And then esports, as you said, is really just still emerging, Mitch, because it's about $1 billion of $170 billion. But the nice thing about gaming and Georgia is we have some homegrown properties and IP. When you look at film and TV and how that's progressed, I've heard, Ryan from Blackhall talk about this a lot. There's the staging and the infrastructure and the production, but really a lot of what we're trying to do is work to be authoring IP and writing scripts and directing, and actually not just leasing space, but owning the properties. And a lot of folks are spending energy doing that. Well, if gaming, because of a High Res Studios, because of a Brawlhalla, it's the equivalent of being the Marvel or the Disney in the space and actually owning it. And that's very powerful. And it allows for a lot of auxiliary revenue streams to be created. And one of those is esports. So in order to market these games and generate awareness, there are massive events that are thrown. And so from a tourism impact, it's another opportunity. So specific example, at High Res, we made a game, as you mentioned, Smite, and we started very modestly doing tournaments, $100 a weekend, $250 a weekend. Within 2 years, that grew to holding an event at Cobb Energy Center with 3,000 live fans, 80% traveling outside of Georgia, there for 2 8-hour days. The prize pool for that one competition was $2.6 million. For one game. This weekend, we'll have the Super Bowl. 100 million people are expected to watch. There's esports events that already exceed that in viewership, specifically for the game League of Legends. So this is really the sport and content consumption for the future. And I kind of learned about it specifically with one game, the game you're showing now, Smite, where you play characters from mythology from all over the world. But now with SkillShot, Mitch, we're taking that esports capability that we built for our homegrown property of Smite, and we're serving all of the games from around the world and positioning this region as the place to hold events and do production. So the same template and story that Georgia has done such an amazing job with around why you want that peach on your production, we're telling that story around why you want your live event and all of the media produced from that to happen here in Georgia. And SkillShot is a production company that makes it happen. I also wear a hat from the Atlanta Esports Alliance, which is a division of the Atlanta Sports Council. So the group that's going out and won the Super Bowl and won the Final Four before COVID canceled it, and is right now talking to FIFA about the next World Cup. I represent them now going after formally the biggest esports events in the world and bringing them here for all of the same reasons that benefit workforce, infrastructure, biggest airport, hotel capacity, all those sort of things. So SkillShot's like the muscle and capability that powers that.
You want to talk about this picture that I just threw up there?
Yeah, now I can actually show you a live one that looks just like that concept. So we're thrilled. We built high res up in Alpharetta, but I've lived here in Brookhaven forever. I bought my house here in '97, and so we relocated SkillShot, the esports production hub, from Alpharetta to a brand new development, uptown Atlanta at the Lindbergh MARTA station. And so that development we love the MARTA accessibility. I love that it's 10 minutes from my house, and Rubenstein Partners has bought the entire development. They're putting about $70 million. We really want it to be a live, work, play environment for the entire community where people can congregate for all sorts of great events. We're going to be activating esports events in that atrium that you just showcased. Massive LED screen. We can put in folding chairs. It's connected directly to our production studio. So whatever happens there can go live stream and be seen by millions of people. And there's a workforce development element that maybe we can get to in a bit as well. That's very great for aspiring folks, students, and industry folks.
Yeah, don't let me forget that, because I definitely want to talk about kind of how this ecosystem is creating job opportunities. That's what this is. That's what this conversation is really about. James, let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on. And I know there was some conversation last year about some new facilities and new infrastructure. So let's talk about what you've got going.
Well, it's quite interesting. Todd actually just opened the door for us because he mentioned other locations that he's having his big esports events. And that's where DeKalb has been behind. We're the only metro area without a convention center. So about a year ago, Commissioner Cochran Johnson and I got together and started talking about meeting facilities and our need for facilities. And she and the county has actually funded a feasibility economic impact study. We've got the first round of it that has just come back. We hired Johnson Consulting out of Chicago, who is a world-class meeting facility consultant company. And we have TVS Architects out of Atlanta, who's done things like the Javits Center, Detroit Convention Center. There's work in Shanghai, China. They are actually working on our project. So we're right now working to see what size of a facility that we would need. We've looked at all of DeKalb County for what locations. So we're still trying to narrow down the locations, but we are not competitive and we're not able to bid on like Todd's events and other events because we do not have the space. So we seriously need to be competitive. We seriously need the opportunity to go after events to bring more state, national, international events to DeKalb County. So that's what our biggest project we're working on right now.
So how big do you think this would be?
As a CVB person, it's a little smaller than I thought, but still phenomenally bigger than what we have right now. So we're looking at 50,000 square foot with a multi-purpose hall, maybe like not in the exhibition hall in the normal sense, but maybe you could think of it kind of like an exhibition hall. So 50,000 square foot multi-purpose facility. We're going to have like 40,000 square feet of public spaces where you could do breakouts and coffee breaks and receptions and things that before things start. A 25,000 square foot ballroom, which for everybody, if you have been to the Georgia Aquarium's big oceans ballroom, it's that size. So it gives an idea of perspective. We're looking at 14,000 square feet of individual meeting space, which is like 8 to 10 rooms. So this is designed very heavily with air walls so we can shrink and enlarge facilities. I was just in a meeting with Travel South International yesterday, and their big thing is they need flexible space. They need air walls. And we were discussing this actually yesterday afternoon, that we need this type of facility. And we're also throwing in something interesting. We're looking at a 6,000 square foot black box theater that would seat about 250 people. But besides being an arts location for black box, we also will be able to do it as a breakout space. So you could have a meeting in there, you could have a small function in there. So we could use it for black box to meetings. So, and the other thing is very important is we're actually going to have about 1,250 parking spots. So you have to be able to park the people to get them here. So, and the phase one is basically that facility with about a 200 to 300 room hotel, preferably connected, but on the same spot either way. Phase two is we want enough land that we can then build the 50,000 or plus square foot exhibition space, which is probably a lot of what Todd is using. So we're seriously wanting to have this in phases. First phase, the really convention center. Second phase, adding the exhibition hall. And then we want to be able to grow on top of that. My original goal was 150,000 square feet. We're about 100,000, not counting public space. So we're kind of in that ballpark, which what I originally wanted.
And so we're in the kind of the early phase there. Do you have a concept of when groundbreaking might happen for that, or am I getting ahead of you?
You're way ahead of us there. We have to then, once we pick the location, then we're going to be meeting with the county commissioners because the county is going to have to bond the convention center. So regardless what city or unincorporated DeKalb it goes to, DeKalb is still going to have to be the bonding agency. So right now we're moving into phase two, which we just hired a company, or we just hired the company. We've expanded the job of the scope of the company. We're going to be doing like a digital fly-through concept to where when we present this, they'll actually be able to see what it would look like, what it would feel like, things like that. So that is the stage we're in. We hope to be presenting in the next couple of months to start working towards the bond.
So that kind of segues nicely into the kind of the larger "what's in it for me" kind of conversation, right? So, I'm looking at this perhaps and saying, okay, we've got a convention center. So if I'm a DeKalb County resident and I'm in, I have an AV company or a event company or a esports company, what are the kinds of companies that might benefit from this facility being open? Think like the ripple effect of, okay, we've got a convention center. What does this do for the economy in DeKalb County
We
overall?
had already named linen companies because of all the facilities, rental companies for the tables or the high-end conference, florists, the food distributors, liquor distributors. But then you're getting into the individual, like they may have those businesses, they may not, but they can have their family reunion in this facility. They no longer have to go to we're working with the DeKalb schools. You don't have to go to your graduation in Gwinnett or your graduation downtown at the GWCC. So we're bringing that back home when we get this facility. The CEO of the county may not have to go out of the county to have his major State of the Union address. So when you get that into the locals, then you can get into, if you're interested in Smurf, like WhoCons or Dragon Cons or things like that, we would then be able to go after the smaller versions of that we're not able to right now. So you can get into the individual aspect of, this is your convention center as well. This is your civic center as well. So we could do even certain versions of concerts in this facility, trade shows. If you're into boat shows or whatever, we can bring that to this area to get to the local person's things.
We don't have our music representative on the panel today, but music is a huge opportunity in Georgia. I mean, such a great musical history in the state, right? And in terms of venues, the city and the county definitely don't have enough venues for smaller concerts. And we've got so much musical talent that could be showcasing themselves. And it sounds like that convention center could be an opportunity there, right?
Well, you can do music. So yes, you wouldn't have the theater seating, but you could still use the big ballroom and have the seating and the stage elevated. But then you can also get into something else that we do not have. You could get into cheerleading in the exhibition hall, or dance competitions, or boxing, or fencing, or just different events like that we're not able to compete. Right now, you have to go to Gwinnett for that. You can bring that here. We already do boxing. We're using 2 small ballrooms in the Marriott Century Center. Think of this big facility, how much boxing we could do, and we're maxing out the place right now.
Yeah, as a DeKalb resident, I was not thrilled about going down to the World Congress Center for my kid's high school graduation.
Well, I wasn't either, especially being a CBD
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Shelbia, from other companies and benefit perspective, one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is kind of the opportunity, kind of the location shooting opportunity, and how individuals with homes and businesses can be a part of it. I've been talking to one of my clients over at Mellow Mushroom about the opportunity to showcase their restaurants, for example, as locations, because how many series and movies have people sitting in a restaurant doing a scene, right? So talk to us about how people in DeKalb County and businesses can be a part of the locations.
Absolutely. So since a lot of these shows are filming on our streets and in our stages, they're always in need of particular types of locations. And so they'll send us a list of what they're looking for. And what we do, we go on our database. So we have a database of over 300 properties across DeKalb, where they have sent us information on their property. They've done the pictures, they sent us the specs, and we go on there and we search for what they're looking for. Anyone in DeKalb can do that same thing. If you feel like your property, it doesn't matter what your property look like. It could be a cabin. It could be, it could be a high-rise, beautiful $5 million property or whatever it is. They really need those properties. And so we love for people to send us information on their property so we can put them on this database. But also the Georgia Film Office has the same database. It's across the state of all these different properties for location managers to find. We encourage people to load their properties on that database as well. If you are a business owner and you have never done work in this industry, but you would love to engage this industry, we encourage you, number one, to educate yourself on how this industry works. We encourage you to go to the Georgia Film Office website and list yourself as a vendor. We encourage you to go to Oz Magazine, which is the source book. This book was around when our commission was established, and they were the #1 source for productions to find the businesses and companies they needed, particularly in the locations where they're filming. So we know they're filming in DeKalb, so we need to know which businesses can actually cater to this industry. And that's everything from lighting, from lumber, from cable and phone equipment, all their camera equipment, food, of course, and everything. So they need every type of business. And you can find like a listing of those types of businesses on the Georgia Film Office website. But also in educating yourself, there are classes that the Georgia Film Academy does. There are classes at our Georgia Piedmont Technical College. And when we were talking about music, I mentioned this too. They just added audio engineering to their platform at Georgia Piedmont Technical College. So we're trying to make sure that we are supporting film, music, and digital entertainment across the board, so we can make sure that we leverage all this attraction from all of those industries. So yeah, plenty of opportunities.
That's great. And I was kind of showing a couple of the websites as well as you were talking, because it's very easy to do. You can obviously you got to have, if you want to be a location, you got to have good pictures of your location, right? Don't be posting some fuzzy pictures, right?
Right.
Because the location scouts are all around trying to find great spots for films and series. I was amused last weekend. We were watching this show called Reacher, and it was set in.
I love that show.
Yeah, but it was set in a small town, supposedly south of Atlanta, but it was all filmed in Canada. It's like, what's up with that?
I love that show.
And if you're from Atlanta, if you're from Georgia, and you're seeing a film that was shot in Canada, and they say they're from Atlanta, you're like, that doesn't look like.
I don't recognize that.
Right. Ozark filmed a lot in Atlanta, but then it's supposed to take place in Missouri. My wife's from Missouri, so she's looking at going, that is not what Missouri looks like. So Todd, talk to us a little about, as esports grows, what are what are kind of those ripple opportunities for people around town as well?
Yeah, I'll hit maybe a little bit from a workforce development standpoint, and then also kind of on Shelbia's comment around small businesses engaging with the industry. So for workforce, it's pretty simple. This is where we're taking what has worked so well with film and applying it to gaming and esports. So the Georgia Film Academy that Shelbia mentioned, an amazing concept here in Georgia. Earn college credit through your public or private university, or attend a technical college, get trained by industry experts right next to where they're making the Avengers movies, right? It's pretty cool. So we partnered with them, and we're doing the same thing related to working in games and esports. So the picture you showed, Mitch, this location at Lindbergh, there's a production studio, there's a classroom. We've already started every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have full classes, partnership with Georgia Film Academy, where students are learning the skills to work in the digital media, gaming, and esports industry. I built the original curriculum. I taught for 2 semesters. We now have started to ramp it up. We've got a lot of courses. We've got 10 interns already from the first cohort working at SkillShot or Access Replay or some of the professional esports teams to get that pipeline going. So that's number one. Super excited about it, and super excited it's in everybody's backyard here, and there's a lot of ways to engage. And I invite any education partners to reach out to me or the Georgia Film Academy, particularly if you're already engaged with their film classes. Ask about gaming and esports. And if you're a small business looking to reach the next generation in Georgia, like where kids are spending attention and have true passion, because I say gaming is like, it's slightly ahead of oxygen in the priority for most young people, right? The trends are very, very strong. And what we do is we deliver gaming in the right way, honestly, that delivers positive benefits, because I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with my son. I've seen it with young people. Like anything, it can go too far, but we put structure around it that delivers all the benefits of traditional sports: teamwork, mastery, exposure to STEM skills. If that appeals to you as a person or as a business, and you want to support that and reach folks and have your logo integrated into these youth leagues, give us a ring, because that's what we do.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about kind of education and training opportunities. And James, I'll let you start and Shelbia, I'm sure you can jump in too on this, and Todd too. But James, what are some of the opportunities around the county for training and learning more about these industries, either from education from schools or from county sponsored classes?
Well, I mean, the Georgia State has a hospitality program where you can get a bachelor's degree in hospitality. They have a global tourism program. You can get a master's degree, so you can do that. They're getting ready to open up an online bachelor's degree in hospitality. So we really urge anyone interested in hospitality to take a look at Georgia State. I know Georgia has a program. Kennesaw State both have programs in hospitality. From the CVB perspective, we really hone in on trying to educate you on planning your family reunion. So we actually have monthly family reunion workshops. Pre-COVID, we were the family reunion capital of the South. COVID kind of shut down family reunions for right now, but we're still doing a monthly training program for when you're comfortable to start having your family reunions again. And due to COVID, we switched the reunion program online. And then now we're kind of we do 1 month online, 1 month live, and we're actually teaching you how to do a family reunion from A to Z. And we bring in vendors to every couple of months that you can have your florist, your t-shirt maker, your trinket maker, your restaurants, hotels, everything dealing with a family reunion. They need a park, they need hotels, they need meeting facilities, they need caterers. They use a lot of ice and gas and food and things like that. So we try to bridge the gap to train you on how to do the reunion, but then give the vendors an opportunity to be firsthand with the actual people. So right now, that's our primary training. We do a monthly meeting that is involved for all of our stakeholders, whether you're a hotel, an attraction, economic development, you're a city person, or you're just interested. We do monthly meetings to educate you on different aspects, like dealing with Expedia, dealing with TripAdvisor, dealing with the State Office of Tourism, Explore Georgia. I mean, so we do monthly training programs in that area.
Okay. And Shelby, I know that the Entertainment Commission does all kinds of different trainings, from script writing and resumes. Talk a little bit about what you've got coming up.
Yes, we have a lot of partners that we work with. And I'll mention that we have 10 commission organizations on the commission as well. And so we really reach out to them as our guide in figuring out who we should partner with. So we work with Atlanta Film Society on a training program called the PA Boot Camp. The feedback we've gotten from that one has been phenomenal. People will tell us that this is their first entry into the film industry. And we love that because it really helps people figure out if this is the industry they want to be in. But it's called PA Boot Camp. It's done 4 times a year. We partner with them on reserving at least 10 slots for every boot camp just for DeKalb residents. We pay a scholarship for them to attend that program. And we love the feedback that we continue to get from them on jumpstarting people's career in the film industry. So we're partnering with them with some more classes yet to come. We also work with our DeKalb School District on a guest speaker series. We bring industry professionals together in a panel. We work with our CTAE teachers who teach the film, music, digital entertainment pathway in our school system. So once a month, we sit with them, they log in, their class watches our panel and asks questions of our industry panelists. And we did 8 of those last year. If you are interested in just hearing those panels, the links are on our website at DeKalbEntertainment.com. We also do an entertainment expo panel with industry experts as well, all focused on film, music, and digital entertainment. So those panels are really great too. Those links as well are on our website. We want to give everybody an opportunity to learn as much as they can about these industries, to really develop their talent and their skills, to truly find a job in this industry, because that's our main goal. Create this infrastructure where there is a direct path into the industry so that even if the tax credit, God forbid, ever goes away, we have that infrastructure here that will continue to grow and thrive. And you know, all of our studios and development projects, our convention center eventually, all of these things are helping us to make sure that that infrastructure is in place. So yeah, we're excited.
Excellent. And Todd, I think you touched on this a little bit, but is there anything else you want to add to this part of the conversation?
No, I love the energy, and we're doing the same thing around gaming and esports. Very specifically, the class, which is the first prerequisite of the Georgia Film Academy digital media pathway, which, as Shelbia said, it's really like a sampler platter. Every one of the 16 sessions exposes you to a different segment of esports, because people think, oh, I'm going to be a professional gamer. Like, that's one of the segments, but just like not most of us will be LeBron James, will have a job around LeBron James. Same thing. Like, the 1% of the 1% will get paid for playing video games, but it's that person needs a lawyer and an agent and a social media manager, and there's commentators and people behind the camera, player representation, all that exists. So you get exposed to all of that. This summer, I'll put a plug. We're taking that 16-week class and doing a 1-week summer camp for high schoolers that really compresses it. And that will be taught at the Uptown facility that I just mentioned in partnership with GFA. So this is the announcement of the announcement. Within a couple of weeks, there will be a website where folks can register. That's a very esports thing to do, is announce an announcement.
So can they find information through the SkillShot website eventually?
Yeah, they can. Again, it'll be about 2 weeks, but we'll do at least 2 sessions this summer in June. Okay.
Very good. So we had a couple of questions. I'll skip to a couple of questions right now. We had a question. Someone asked, can you provide any ideas to grow our recording arts program at Georgia Piedmont Technical College?
Oh, I can only imagine who that was. So So we have been taking every opportunity we can to promote that. We want to build a deeper engagement with our music industry. So we have Georgia Music Partners on our commission. They were instrumental in helping the state to create the music tax credit. So as we build that deeper engagement with them, they have some new development projects that they will be announcing soon as well. So we're looking forward to really being able to expand that. We know that at the Atlanta Arts Institute, they have a music audio program as well. But, you know, as the music industry continues to move to get back to work after this pandemic kind of shut everything down music related, I think this industry is going to begin to grow more. And I think the challenge for this industry has always been those opportunities to connect with those music industry companies. How do we leverage that? How do we bring them in as investors in our talent, our young people, and all the people who, you know, maybe you were in your high school band, or, you know, what do you do when high school is over and you want to continue to work in that industry? So we want to make sure that we build those relationships. So Georgia Piedmont Technical College, we will be promoting your program as much as we can. So, and we thank you for adding that to your curriculum.
Are there some other colleges and universities around the city that offer programs in this area?
I think Georgia Piedmont Technical College might be the only one that kind of added a new audio engineering. The Arts Institute really is in Fulton, just on the edge of Dunwoody. I'm not sure about Georgia State University. They may have something downtown. Like on our commission is the Georgia State University Creative Media Institute. And they do everything from gaming, esports, film, everything in that facility. It's a truly exciting facility as well. But this is an area we really want to help develop out in DeKalb County.
And Todd, if someone was interested in kind of esports gaming as a job or as a career, I mean, I remember the first time I visited Hi-Res, I was just amazed by all the varieties of people there doing all different kinds of jobs. Where do you go to get that kind of training or education?
I mean, again, this summer camp would be great, or the GFA curriculum, the first course, which is an introduction. It really exposes you to the type of companies in the ecosystem, the type of companies that are here in Georgia in every category that are hiring, and then the jobs that lead. So it really is a course that's designed kind of backwards from companies and workforce development and actual jobs. But it's as broad as people might think. I mean, or broader. The recording arts program, there's a lot of music. In the games industry, there is original music composition, there is voice acting, there is audio engineering, there is sound effects. So those are 4 things just within games. And then when you go to esports, most esports events have the integration these days of music. There's a halftime show or there's a DJ at the after party. So they're very experiential. Even in COVID, when COVID hit, our company, we did a COVID fundraiser with the Boys and Girls Club that was a completely virtual event. And we integrated Atlanta artists who couldn't perform. So everyone from, hip hop, country, Zach Brown Band, Mastodon, a lot of local Georgia talent that was integrated, that was performing from their home, broadcast over the internet. So esports and live streaming, it's very resilient, and it really, in a weird way, found more viewers during COVID because everyone's shut in at home and you can only watch so much Netflix. So you want to be entertained and you want to connect with your friends. So you play social gaming and you watch games. So there's a lot of new opportunities based on that, specifically music, or really almost any job you can think about in sports or entertainment, you can connect bestowed to esports because it's sports, it's media, it's experiential, it's event, it's hospitality, it's all those things.
Yeah, and I know Kennesaw State has some programs in gaming and game design, right?
Yeah, Kennesaw, SCAD, Georgia State, Georgia Tech. I mean, there are 10 local universities that have varsity esports programs with scholarships in Georgia. There are 200 across the United States with $16 million in scholarship for being very good at a video game. And Georgia was one of the first 5 states to make esports a sanctioned varsity sport. So we're very leading edge in this kind of sport and entertainment of the future, which is great.
And of course, Clayton State has a great film program down there. That's not, I don't think that's obviously not DeKalb County, but a great, I should give them credit for the great program down there. Had a comment, one of our viewers wanted to mention the city of Clarkston. Make sure Clarkston is considered for entertainment projects. It's small, but best place for exposure to practically every language and culture you can imagine. So thank you for our guest who mentioned that. Question from a viewer: How would you suggest consultants in the architect, construction, and engineering disciplines get engaged in new entertainment developments? James, I'll throw that one to you.
That one's a tough one. I know the only thing we're looking at right now would be the convention center, though there is a privately owned sportsplex is being discussed. But from the convention center standpoint, as we move forward, we're definitely going to need architects to design that, interior designers. From the hotel perspective, we have a few hotels going up, but they're all individual. So really talking with hotel management companies, with hotel ownership companies, most of it are going to be management companies. They're just going to flag the Marriott or the Hilton or whatever. Restaurants are going to be the individual basis. So from our perspective, we don't get involved a lot in the architectural side of any of this. We more are, once you open, we get active. So the convention center project, the Air and Space Museum project out at PDK, and this sports facility project we're involved in, but they're all individual owned.
Okay. I should mention, we were talking about, Todd was talking about esports events a little bit. There are a lot of great events, and I know if you're interested in getting involved, I'll just throw this one up. One of the really fun events is DreamHack, and that's coming back to Atlanta in the fall for the first time after a bit. And I think they have 30 or 35,000 people gaming as part of that. So if you really want to see the action and see the energy and the excitement, it's at the World Congress Center in I think it's. I'm going to say the date, be wrong, so I'm not going to say the date. But it's in the fall.
And let me mention too, I attended that with my sons, and that is a huge event. It's always fun. There's something going on in every part of the building. Kids can stay overnight. Parents have their own little section. It's an incredible event. If you've never been, I encourage you to go. It's fun for everybody.
And the other one is MomoCon, which is another big gaming event, and also some other anime and entertainment as well. That's also at the Congress Center, and that was created by 2 DeKalb County residents. So that's a great event, and that's Memorial Day weekend. Coming back live to the World Congress Center this year after 2 years of being virtual. So that's great that these events are coming back. They're putting great safety protocols in place, I think, which we're all kind of happy about. But they're able to come back. Let's talk. We got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about some of the challenges. James, you talked about the challenge of not having a convention center here, and talk to clients. Challenges or opportunities too, right? So what are some of the other challenges that we have in growing the entertainment industry around DeKalb?
The biggest challenge is meeting space. So it really comes down to facilities in general. So we really need that convention center. I mean, half of what we talked about today are things that we could go after and work with if we had the space. So whether it's a venue for concerts that could go into a big ballroom, a venue for indoor sports, a venue for conventions or trade shows. The other thing is we have some great parks and rec facilities, but the need for a sportsplex to really propel us. I mean, We've got large soccer tournaments, but we could do huge soccer tournaments if we have the space. And we started looking at the Sportsplex concept a few years ago, and we need 19 rectangular fields, soccer fields. And we looked at nationally, you're flying into Atlanta to hop over to another destination. Well, again, you're flying into Atlanta, but we're here. Or you're driving through Atlanta, but we're here. So the facilities in tourism, pretty much almost, unless you're in the leisure realm, and then really attractions fall into that category. We have two new great attractions in Stonecrest. We have the Sequest that just opened up. We have New Black Wall Street opened up in the National Heritage area for Arabian Mountain. So that's given us some new attractions and some new space for family reunions or for birthday parties and all. But it still comes down to facilities. So we need attractions. We need the convention center space. We need field space. We need indoor sports space. We're working very hard on a Georgia Air and Space Museum out at PDK. That will be a one-of-a-kind facility in Georgia. To be a very unique piece for the United States to be able to have planes that would come in and out. We'd have a facility that you could have all aerospace during the day, and at nighttime you could be in, I'm Greek, so you could be in Greece, because the walls could take you and make you into whatever area you want to be. So these are all pieces that we're working on that we need desperately to move forward.
Do we have the physical space to put these? Is there room for a place to put 19 soccer fields somewhere in DeKalb County?
Yeah, they're working on space right now. So there is different areas that could accommodate that. There's not as much land in DeKalb as you would think, because we need 100+ acres for the Sportsplex. We need 25+ acres for the convention center. We need 15 acres for the Air and Space Museum. But the good thing is all of these are being discussed. All of these are in kind of planning discussion stages. So those three, we have the ability to do all of those. Black Wall Street's already open in the Target, in the old Target in Stonecrest. Sequest is already open in the old Sears at the Stonecrest Mall. So we have the ability to transform locations as well.
Todd, what are your thoughts on the challenges?
Well, I'll say from an industry perspective, not specific to the DeKalb area. I mean, esports and gaming is in such hyper growth mode, which is good. But I think, candidly, with any opportunity, there's a lot of people that kind of jump into it that don't come from the experience base. And so combined with institutions, I mean, gaming, I think, still needs a better legitimacy with parents. You know, there's still some stigma around it. So the combination of an activity that maybe is considered let's call it a vice, or it's like junk food, even though the research says, and I can share all this if anyone's interested, amazing social emotional learning, and I've just seen it firsthand. But the combination of it needs legitimacy, and candidly, there's some folks there that maybe just see it as a cash grab and are not there for the long-term sustainability. That's just a challenge that our industry is dealing with that will shake out over time. So I spend a lot of time trying to do education and help people understand the right way to engage with the industry. So that's an industry challenge. Again, Georgia in general is doing as good of a job as any state or better in really being a good partner in that, because they understand the economic potential. But that's an industry challenge. I think DeKalb's, really well positioned. I'll obviously echo there's a facility gap right now, but I know there's a lot of energy being put towards that, including our own facility, which for multiple hundreds of people events is gonna work really well. It's really, having a facility at each stage of growth, because just like sports, you have high school or collegiate where a couple hundred is perfect and you have a lot of that engagement. And then you might have quarterly events where you're stepping up, and then you want a facility where you can host the world events, where you want a State Farm sized arena. We're not quite to Mercedes-Benz yet in the US, although globally they are.
Yeah. And I think part of that is I don't want to say an age issue, but it's kind of an age issue. You got parents
Generational.
Yeah. But having been to a lot of, DreamHack and MomoCon and some of these esports kind of events, when you see these teams coming in with sponsorships and you see the prize money that's available at these events, I mean, you can make a living, or at least make some good money for a number of years doing esports, being on a team, being good at it. And as you said, not everybody's going to be a competitive gamer, but there certainly are opportunities, as with anything.
Yeah, 100%. Again, the Super Bowl, 100 million uniques. Esports has already surpassed that. The largest events are tens of millions in prizing. So already more than, say, the Masters or the US Open or other kind of premier prizing traditional sports events. And we're really just getting started. I mean, this is very early days, which is why I encourage anyone interested to be deliberate about your partners, because it's somewhat the Wild West. It's like we're kind of in the second inning, if you will, maybe from a sports analogy. It took football 150 years to consolidate and become what it is, and we're in year 5 really of esports as a thing. So we're super early days.
I can't tell you how many conversations I've had the last 5 years explaining to people what esports are.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's people who are older, but even people in their 20s are just, what is esports? Why would you go somewhere to watch people game? And I explained to them what Twitch is, and streaming place where we can watch people game. And I said, well, you watch people play golf, right? You watch people play baseball and football. I mean, you're not playing, you're watching.
Sometimes you watch people drive around a track. It's a human and it's a machine combined. Is it a sport? It's super competitive. It takes mastery. It takes practice. They can do something I can't do, and it's compelling to watch. So, yep.
ESPN has, you can watch cornhole on ESPN now sometimes too. So, and there's what do you call it? There's play-by-play announcers talking about cornhole. One of the things, we've got just a couple of minutes, but one of the things that Dorian mentioned at the top of the event this morning was what's going on with Gray TV. And so for those who joined us late, Gray TV bought what has been called the assembly area, which is the old GM plant in Doraville, which is Peachtree Road, 285, the MARTA station on the other side. I can't remember how big it is, but Third Rail Studios has been there for a couple of years. Serta Simmons Bedding is in there. The growth has been slow there, but Gray just bought it a few months ago or last year, and they're talking about building a huge studio complex there, mixed use residential, mixed use residential. Probably restaurants, perhaps. I think there's conversation about some sort of esports venue there. Thoughts on that? That to me seems like a game changer for the county. It's such a great opportunity. James, I'll let you start with that.
Well, it's going to be a huge game changer. I mean, from we're looking at it, they're going to be, the way I understand it, they're going to be looking at film tours of the studios that you could do at nights, weekends, and holidays. The amount of new restaurants and hotels coming in to support the facilities, to support people coming on to see the area, just the infrastructure of the amount of TV productions, film productions, music productions that bring money to the area. So, and another thing we can hang our hat on, largest film studio in America or the world, the ability to see film when you're here to visit, the ability to have evening activities when we bring in people to our convention center, hopefully very soon, can go out there and have evening activities. So it'll be a huge game changer for tourism, for all of the hospitality world in DeKalb.
Todd, what your thoughts on this new project out there?
Yeah, it's exciting. It's like, 5 minutes from my house, so it's great. Yeah, we're engaged with them, know them very, very well. They're also invested in the esports team space, they being Gray, right? So they're long-term committed to the space. My sense is they're going to start with the film side of it and studios, and but I'm confident gaming and esports will be a part of it, and probably based on what other assets are happening around the county, they can kind of figure out what the right footprint is. But it's great to have more partners and investment locally around this industry, and they have a broad view of digital entertainment, which is one of the things that's most exciting to me, is that it was just film, or film and TV. Yeah. The fact that music, that gaming, that digital media, because these technologies are converging, like particularly as virtual production starts to get into the mix, like all these technologies in the pipeline are converging.
Excellent. Well, I'm getting a message that I am at my time limit here, but thank you all for being here with us today. Just a quick shout out for websites you can find everybody: discoverdekab.com, dekabentertainment.com, and Todd, SkillShot.com. Is that the best one for you? Excellent. Thank you, James, Shelbia, Todd. I think we could have talked for another hour or so, but thank you so much. And if everyone will click on, let's see, I think you go back to the stage button, and this will take you back to the next segment of our event today. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.